And welcome everybody to Overwatch Clash Season 11, Week 2 here, our first game of the second week of the season between the Matchtown Dreamers and the Seattle Speedsters. I am Booney, and joining me today is going to be Fish. And Fish, we got ourselves a very interesting game on our hands. I think both these teams sort of on polar opposite trajectories in terms of power rankings here. You know, Matchtown Dreamers maybe a little slept on in the preseason. Speedsters were towards the top, and now both teams going in that direction after a strong Week 1.
Yeah, these are the two winners of Week 1. These teams actually were only 2 spots away from each other in PR. We had the Dreamers at 18, Speedsters at 16.
Really? I thought Speedsters were higher than that. My fault.
I was the only one. I believed in the Speedsters. I still believe in the Speedsters, but I think the Dreamers were probably the biggest riser after Week 1. They looked very dominant, so very interested to see how this goes. We are missing Dawes today. Everyone puts F's in the chat for Dawes, has face it. But shouldn't be the end of the world for the Dreamers. I still think, you know, Spacemaker should be able to do just fine. We get Junkertown, map 1 pick by the Speedsters.
And yeah, if we're heading to Junkertown, like you mentioned, Matchtown Dreamers on a big trajectory, and that's definitely not without Danny Mac's performance there in that first week. You know, we were thinking Danny Mac had a showing in the rookie season on the room, or the Ritu Raccoons, and it was a bit of a letdown almost for their SR, but coming in, adding that Hazard in their repertoire. They were always an excellent Joker Queen player, but they're very susceptible to bans, but now with the Hazard in the loop, this player has just unleashed the champion tank on the unknowing Aurora, and when you're able to make Corey look that feeble on tank, you know it has a pretty damn good week.
Yeah, I think the Hazard was almost the more impressive of the two last week. I mean, they were both solid, but I was very impressed by the Hazard performance on Kings Row. Definitely kind of the admin of the lobby. And I think that's kind of what the thought process is on this Junkertown pick, right? I mean, we're going to just the worst map probably in the game for Junker Queen and Hazard. So I think a smart pick from the Speedsters. I'd be curious to see what the Speedsters lineup is going to be. Last week they did have Andrew ringing for Nash Browns, and yeah, it looks like it is going to be guy with the face tank, and then the Swifters Taken Wallet backline, some Vega Vengeance members. Love to see it. So I think I'm rooting for the Speedsters today, but honestly I have friends on both sides.
Yeah, I probably have to pull a little bit for the Speedsters here as well, just because I like what Swifters did in the draft. You know, trading up to get Dab Mass number 1 overall, I think was a sly maneuver, especially in going from the 23rd pick or somewhere around there up into the top. But yeah, you gotta give some love out as well to the standout performance of Week 1, which was the Dreamers for me. I had them quite a lot lower in my power rankings personally, but they shot up pretty darn quickly here. We do officially have our bans in here though, so it is going to be Junkertown first map. Speedsters are going to ban out the Genji, and then we're also going to get the Sigma ban for the side of the Matchtown Dreamers, obviously targeting out, you know, God of the Face and January on either side respectively here.
Yeah, I guess Guy with the Face strikes fear in his opponents. The Sigma ban comes out. I do understand that. I think we might see Danny Mac still play Hazard here. I think that could be an interesting play. Sigma is probably the best tank in the game into Hazard. It's, you know, arguable. Orisa's pretty good too. But I think you can make Hazard work on this map, especially on those 2nd and 3rd points. Very high ground dependent. And I think Hazard can get a lot of value there. But at the same time, who knows?
See here, just as both teams are R, and then we'll go ahead on in here real quick while I get the roster page set up, so you can take a look at who's going in here in our first map. Danny Mac, January, Spacemaker, Sandy, and Mistletoe as expected. Got the face. Para is going to be over here on the DPS, and then we got Taken Walt on the support. All right, cool. We are all set up there as well. So once our teams give us the R, we'll go ahead on in. But take a quick peek here at the rosters before we really get into some game action here for our first map. Dawes, of course, not present, so this will be the lineup here for the entire series for Matchtown Dreamers, most likely. Max now at 3,500, making every single number in that SR cap work. Then for the Speedsters, Nash Browns and Taken Wallet, we'll probably be swapping around. We might see a different look from this team as well. Of course, Nash Browns wasn't there. Andrew was playing last week for the Ringer situation, so we saw a lot of this exact lineup. But with Nash Browns here, we got to see what his full roster can really do and really looks like here. Okay, so both teams are R. we're going to be going in here momentarily into our first map of Junkertown here in Week 2 in Overwatch Clash Season 11. Of course, if you guys do enjoy the content, make sure to leave a follow on the Twitch. And if you are willing, make sure to go to Twitch Prime donation or subscription of your own. Plus, we appreciate the bits wherever they come in. But yes, going in Junkertown here, what do you expect to see here, Fish, on both these sides? You know, when you have Para, who was sort of a standout hit scan player last season for the champion, the eventual champions here. Hold on, my game capture is turned off, but it should be back on here in a couple of seconds. Give me a moment. But please do talk about what we're seeing here now. The rosters are finally revealed. We see some heroes being picked.
Sorry, I'm really quick pinging. Just give me one moment.
All right, well, fair enough. I'm looking at this one. Dammaster is on Widowmaker. They're on the attack side, though, so we could be seeing a swap in the spawn. Para is over on the Sojourn. No Emery this time here. Para, again, kind of making a name for themselves last season on the hit scan. We hadn't seen it very often, but we do have January on the Xion here at Junkertown, and that's kind of interesting because Xion, you know, very, very flank heavy, you know, very kind of get in and out sort of situation. Junkertown just so wide open, makes it kind of difficult to play, you know? And the Dynamac Hazard once again here.
Yeah, I think Xion here is interesting. It's not entirely shocking to me. This map is kind of laney based, so I kind of like the Xion pick a little bit. I'm interested to see the Kiri Miz that they played a lot on KR, or they played on KR last week. Interested to see that on Junkertown here.
Dammaster taking a couple pot shots here out of the spawn room, but right now got the way face just continuing to move towards his first corner as Dynamac finally makes the approach here up on the high ground chain. Not going from Swifters here just yet, but Dynamac using the safety of their own deployed wall to play this corner for now. January forced to back away with that dash from the Xion. Get a little bit extra armor and charge ready to go, but still, Dynamac holding this corner by themselves right now, not allowing through. Eventually, they're forced to go back, but got the face falling extremely low with Spacemaker using that slower from the Sojourn to knock the horse back a little bit, and now got the face is isolated. Spacemaker finds the opening pick here. Good start here for the Matchtown Dreamers, but Dynamac might get taken down here. Dynamac falling HP, but a nice Suzu from Mistletoe. The captain will keep the tank standing, and now it's a 1-for-1 exchange on this DPS line. Still, right now, Matchtown Dreamers just play this nice and slow, align Dynamac to find the space they want on the Sojourn. A flanker, though, from Par in the back line. Swifter's or Sadie getting messed up on this chain, but still, a lot of angles being taken right now for match time.
Yeah, I think the Dreamers here are playing this very well, very disciplined. That Suzu was huge, but you can see they have the whole map. It's really hard for them to go. It's like guy with the face, trying to get active, trying to get in there, uses the Fortify, uses the spin. No abilities for Dammaster on the coast flank, looking to try to take some of the map control. And it looks like the Speedsters finally do have an advantage. Their first pick, but guy with the face gets a little too ambitious. 4v4 now. It's very, very scrappy.
Yeah, now Dynamac is free to move on his card. Spacemaker slides into the DMs of Dammaster and takes them down on the bridge of the other team's spawn room. But right now, it's still 1-for-1 back and forth. Both the teams not really finding a big advantage except for Dynamac still standing on this hazard. The tank is present here. Guy with the face finally is returning. And is that Dammaster dropping off the Whitaker onto the bashing here to help deal Dynamac?
Yeah, I've seen this pick quite a lot into the Hazard. It seems to be a pocket pick for DPS players. We will see how it goes. They do have the double support ults here. They built them first. It looks like, yeah, they are going to rush, and Dynamac falls immediately after that rush. Very good job by taking wall, building the rush first, being able to deploy that before the other team has it. And that should be a 0.1 cap for the Speedsters if they're able to close this out here.
And it will be eventually going down. Able to win that fight with just the use of taking walls. Kusina Rush is a huge boon here for the attacker side of the Seattle Speedsters. But they do have a lot of ults coming here for Matchtown Dreamers. In fact, all 5 nearly online. It's going to be up to Ken Switch with Negate and Ultimate or 2 using this Kenkai Sanctuary that they've built at the same time as Sandy here. See who decides to get active first. A lot of these teams have a lot of ults, but who will press the Q key first right now? High control maintained for Matchtown Dreamers. And I mean, Swifter's kind of caught out a little bit, has to use that dash away to get it back to safety of the squadron, but right now, there's a big cooldown taken down, and Dynamac says the opportunity, finds 2 here on the engagement now, and now God the Face is going to get caught out in the side with a nice little wall from Dynamac, and a great little use of the hazard utility there to negate that Orissa's cold form, and no ult in a fight. Victor Fish is massive for Matchtown Dreamers.
Yeah, somehow we have all 5 ults and we use none of them and we won the fight. It's kind of a miracle. I really think Dynamac is playing this very well, and now they have the tempo, they have the ability to ult first for the rest of, these next 3 fights. Could be very hard. It's like Dynamac setting up, looking to get in there. The rush is used from Mistletoe. Good Mizuki ult from Swifters to combat that. But Dynamac caught out, gets stuck, 60 HP, but then very good Mizuki ult from Sandy. All the ults are being used. Dynamac uses his Hazard ult on the cart, finds 3 people and they do with the power of 4 ultimates versus the Speedsters 2, they do end up winning that fight.
Yeah, 4 ults for 2, not the best exchange there for the side match on Dreamers, but with how quickly the ability, then they got be too upset about that one. But God the Ways having a big Terror Surge here could potentially look to clear its high ground out as Dynamac continues to play his corner. Dabmaster will as well have the pull combo to pair with it here, so he could see an Artillery Strike. They'll pseudo ground town surge combo if you want to see it that way, but right now Dabmaster using the turret form trying to get Dynamac off the high ground. He will do so, but falling so low. They get January though, just in the mid fight. Overclock is used by Spacemaker up on the high ground. Meltdown got the face in the middle of this Terror Surge, so no pull here for the use of the Artillery Strike, but still a very scrappy exchange in the team with those ultimates that definitely takes one here, as no more Qs are allowed on the field, and they're still going back and forth here. Dynamac standing, looking for a flank engagement on the card here, looking for dive. Will find out taken wall. Do they have the Suze? They do, and Dabmaster has the pick on the other side. We are seeing a very scrappy affair, but Dabmaster comes out on top, finding 2 in the bash Artillery Strike up on top, and now here come the reinforcements in the Siren. Dabmaster with a third. He's split in a corner. Is Dynamac now just playing the stat sheet, trying to get out with their life. Might do so, but they are surrounded by 5 members. They do seem to get out here, though. No, they're going back in. Dynamac might get punished here. Going way too deep.
I mean, he's trying to live here. He has the whole squad on him, but he's still alive. He gets to get this card touch, and now it's a 5v5. Guy with the face falls really low. Dynamac has to back. It's gonna have to get a touch here, though. I think they're just gonna have to give.
Yeah, they just can't get the touch in there. Dynamac with the good survival skills there, able to survive. One of them, in fact, 3 members surviving from the match on Dreamers for the fight will get out and save the stats, but can't save the point B. And still, we're seeing this Bastion form from Dabmaster is making up huge turns with this just turret form in the neutral game, forcing out the tank as well as putting down tank just over clocking the support line for match time. They can't keep up. And Dynamac is down. Dabmaster again finds the opening pick on this tank, and now this main windmill area is completely under control of the Speedsters, and the DPS duo continues to find the picks they need to keep his cart moving.
Yeah, Dabmaster now taking this little flank on this right side. I think Dab has played very well this round. High ground control, looking to take a 1v1 on Jan on this kind of right side spawn angle. They know he's there, but it's kind of hard for them to clear him. I think Dynamac is going to have to deal with Dabmaster at some point. And it looks like they are going to 3-man walk at him right now. Dabmaster is forced to give that high ground. But, you take a look at the cart. The cart has moved into 1-fight territory. Dynamac looking to try to get active. The Mizuki ult is used. OC used on the high ground as well. And Dynamac is kind of out of the fight. There's this, 5-man point, final point. Dynamac dies again. There just is no way that Dynamac can play the game here.
That's on Dreamers, though. Clutching this up. Hold on. They find 2. And that's spawn advantage. And the Kasuna take a Sanctuary here from Sandy. Might do it. Spacemaker goes in to find the Dabmaster using the ultimate, and they're going to do so. So despite losing Dynamac first, Spacemaker finds a third. And perfectly timed support almost there for the match time Dreamers to keep them standing here in the defense. Now 1 remaining in the time bank.
Yeah, huge ult fight there. Dreamers had to use 4 to survive there, but they do. It's not like
But it's 4 on the other side as well. It was not that bad.
It's not like the Speedsters had much discipline there, so it's really only guy with the face is Terror Surge here. Is the only ult left in the game. We'll see if he can find really any value into this really hyper-mobile comp.
Spacemaker will look to use his overclock on the rotate here, trying to find a pick potentially on the way through. Going really deep on his flank here, actually, around the POV of Spacemaker, looking for a pick over on, but just going to get caught out. Going to get punched by Swifters, but Swift finds 1 HP. Sandy finds the kill. The Mizuki diff. The cart cannot get touched, and right now it's 2 picks. Make that a third here for the match time Dreamers. As now 20 seconds remaining in the time bank. Once again, only got the face with Terror Surge. Has to be huge here.
Dude, I don't know who's going to touch here for the Speedsters. I mean, they have 14 seconds. They made no swaps. I think guy with the face is going to have to pick up the pace here. Got 8 seconds.
Yeah, they're coming in here. It's a big extend. Dynamac goes in way too deep. Dynamac gets punished. Hold on. Do they have a touch? They do. And Dabmaster finds a second here in the fight. This could be a bit of a misplay from the star player of Match on Dreamers, but Spacemaker again, the ever-present Captain Clown, who I'll call him, that is here to find the picks that they might need. The spawn's still in favor. Big chain there on towards Swifters, but right now they just don't have the numbers, they don't have the bodies, they don't have the damage to find Dabmaster 1 HP, but the Sanctuary is just what they need. However, Dynamac playing inside it, but the Sanctuary just negates the ultimate! The downpour finds nothing here, but they find the picks. How are they doing this, Swifters? Because another one Swifters finds 2 Swifters. The captain of the clutch play with the Kenkai Sanctuary as well as the picks there at the end. Almost dangerous there for Matt trying to bring it back. But Speedsters will get the full cap at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think the duo of the Swifters Mizuki and the Dive Master Bastion ended up being the key to the set of that attack side. Being able to kind of just walk for free. There was no threat. If Danny Mac comes and fights you, guess what? You're going to get chain Bastion formed. And I think that was a problem Danny Mac was facing, where the choices were either to get Shane Bastion formed or to give them the whole map. And I think, Dab Master was doing a very good job of taking important parts of the map and then making it hard for Danny Mac to pressure him. I'm not sure what the solution there is for Danny Mac. I think, Hazard was not bad. It's easier on attack side, so I expect them to kind of stick with a similar comp. But I do think that's a good result on Junkertown first. I think capping 3, it's a very defense-sided map, especially third point. It's a very good result for the Speedsters.
And yeah, I'm still, maybe questioning January using that Shion for that long. Had the damage and put in a lot of bolts in some heads, but just couldn't find the picks they need on the back end. Just with this Kiriko Mizuki so tough to dive solo, when you had the Rissa on your side. So I want to see maybe play either a little more brawly or a little more poke, because I think the Shion just kind of doesn't fit really either of the playstyles here for Junkertown need. But January will be on the Sojourn here, taking this duty out from Spacemaker, as Spacemaker goes over on the Windmaker, trying to find a pick or two here on the attacker side, but Dabmaster will match it, and we'll force Spacemaker back here just a little bit, as this a really awkward angle here now for the Widowmaker. For Mash on Dreamers getting poked up by Taken Wallet, and right now, very slow, steady approach here. Dynamac looks to find an angle on the other side.
Yeah, I'm curious to see Dive go Widow here. I thought the Bastion was so important for them. It does kind of feel like if you're not killing anyone on Widowmaker, what are you doing? But I do think, you're trying to combat the opposing Widowmaker. Looks like going for an angle here. Can't really find anything, and who is that? Parapult super low, and they just have given up the whole map. If you look, the Dreamers have every angle. There is absolutely no map control for the Speedsters, and Spacemaker takes advantage. Hera is way overextended, but somehow,
hold on.
some way, Dabmaster finds a pick, and this is still a super 3v3 even fight. Got with the face, super ISO, couldn't be more. Have to use both abilities, and yes, Danny Mac finds it onto Swifters, and Guy with the Face should be found dead here shortly. The Dreamers, I think, have played this first point very, very well. Is Guy with the Face going to go down? It looks like he's not. There's no follow-up.
There's no follow-up because they're too busy taking in Dabmaster. Saw the first person POV of just a large Scottish man going right in their face the second they push that scope button. And Dabmaster's still on this Widowmaker. Dab had to swap off the Widowmaker because it makes sense for Spacemaker to play the Widowmaker, knowing going into Rissa, tough to really close that up. But with Dynamac on the Hazard, there's just too much pressure put on the Widowmaker. We'll go over on the Cassidy here. Still no Bastion. The Bastion's doing so well, Fish. I don't know why they're going back to the well. They're instead they're playing for this Cassidy now. Taking Wall does have a big advantage in terms of Kusina Rush now. And in this fight. But Dynamac just has no fear whatsoever. Just stay in the middle of 5 members, taking his advantage. Finally shows some fear. Forced retreat. Maybe not their choice, but they will get out eventually here. But a big use of the downpour here. But a perfectly timed sweep for Takeout against the ultimate. The support line for the Speedster just says, no, Dynamac, you have no ult this game. Oh, Para.
On this Widow, yeah, Para is in there. Para's just half dead.
Wait, okay, I was about to say.
Guy with the Face, though, looking to make a play. It's in there. Cannot find it. And it's gonna, oh my god, Danny Mac still dies. It's a 4v3 right now for the Dreamers. Are they able to convert this? The Mizuki ult is committed.
The Widow's sprawling on points in the run.
Into it.
What?
Wow, they clutched the 4v3 with the use of the Mizuki ult, and that's kind of disastrous for the Dreamers. You don't want to get held here. This is a terrible part of the map for the attack side, and unfortunately, the Dreamers, that's a very clutch convert for them on this double hit scan look.
Yeah, now they got the ultimate look appears. They have Ticked Wall still with the Kusina Rush. Sandy can look to get the Kenkai Sanctuary, but where does Mistletoe decide to pop in this rush? Do they use to clear the high ground or pick the brawl on point? They're going to use to clear the high ground. January down early here in the middle of the rush, and now here comes a high noon. Can Dab again? Time they can and find another one. Another pull from Guy in the face doesn't get anybody up the high ground, and now there's just no tank to fight with the squad up on top, and Dynamac finds the advantage here. The two Suzu, two live from tank wall to find the pick, but they are getting the picks here now for Seattle Speedsters as they maintain high ground control. At just perfectly timed high noon there from Dabmaster once again finds the picks, negates the ults, and now again they maintain space. Sandy is in no man's land right now. Gets back to the safety of their DP.
Quick little scout from Sandy. This is a 4v5 if the Dreamers decide to go quick. Dabmaster walking back from spawn. And it looks like Dynamac is going to try to go in. Para tries super low, but taken Wallet is there with the Suzu. And Dynamac says, I don't care. I'm going to commit now. Ult on the Dabmaster onto the high ground. That is a clutch first pick in this fight. And Guy with the face way too far up. And the Dreamers find something out of nothing. Dynamac with it, baiting that Suzu and then using the Hazard ult gets a huge pick.
Yeah, it's a huge opening pick there for the Speedster, but you look at it now, Master Dreamers have plenty of time to get back and maintain this control here. Inside this little room, not a lot of guy in the face to take this area. You see Dynamac not playing for the high ground, instead playing for this right room, knowing they got to come out that way, especially if it's Dabmaster and the Cassidy. It's going to be an easy pick here for the Hazard, but instead, Dabmaster goes up on the high ground, but Dynamac steps this one out. Maybe using wall hacks, I don't know. Had perfectly timing on this dive, and now Dabmaster caught out and gets instantly melted. Both overclocks are exchanged here, but January finds opening pick on Dab. Just no space given now for Para as Dynamac goes up there with the help of January on the side, and now got the face just trying to get a point as long as they can. Take a while, not long for the world. And that's going to be a point B capture with 3 minutes in the bank now for Match Time Dreamers, as once again a point B was very well. There goes the Bastion.
Yeah, I think Dabmaster is just having too much trouble walking in a straight line anywhere. He's just getting completely
11 deaths from Dabmaster.
Yeah, it's been really rough. I think this Bastion is going to make it easy, but he's a little too far in, I think. I don't know if he's going to be able to live this. The Suzu comes out and the Sanctuary is committed. So they said we are not letting him get to 12 deaths. Dynamac, a little overzealous, is going to have the cart stop there. And you force the Mizuki ult. It's a fine play. Spacemaker onto this Venture is going to be an interesting pick here. I'm not really sure how you're going to fight for this high ground with the Venture pick, but maybe you're just a cart pusher.
I mean, just saving Private Dabmaster there, not allowing them to fall, but you'll take that if you're Dynamac Match Time. You take out the Kenka Sanctuary just for diving on Dabmaster. Not too shabby in exchange, though. You got to make use of it here with your ult nearly online. Taking Wall. We'll probably have the Kasuna rush here when the fight really big to open up, but Dynamac going aggressively here. Wall not going to quite land just yet, though. And Guy in the face gets the backline, finds Mistletoe. Hold on, great opening pick now for the Speedsters. As now there's 2 with Dabmaster staying alive with the help of the support line in that room, and now Spacemaker just caught out on the windmill. They do lose Guy in the face, but that's going to be fight victory here. Can Guy in the face get back in time to maintain his windmill control for the Match on Dreamers get back with reinforcements?
Guy with the face was doing so well. That first pick was like fight carrying level value, but kind of dying there is not great. It means that the Dreamers are going to get this space kind of for free, unfortunately. Dynamac now fighting for this windmill, super important for this point. And Dabmaster is a little win there, and oh my God, the spear from Guy with the face to him. This Guy with the face on the
big pull!
Gets the 3-man. Oh my God.
All right, this goal of the face going crazy right now. Gotta say, just absolutely different Dynamac there in that fight. And now they're getting the pick the backside of this one. The Shout Speedsters looking up. The spear is going to find only the corpse of Spacemaker in the sky. But right now, they can't walk him down. They can't get past this immortal horse. Absolutely no fear whatsoever from Guy with the face. And that's going to be a 1 minute now in the time bank. And that was a lot of the utility and ultimates taken out of the fight of the equation for the match time. It's down to the Spacemaker to find a pick or find a play with this Venture of the TikTok talk has to be huge.
The Guy with the face just carried that whole fight. I mean, it's actually incredible. The stopping that Hazard ult, that was a 4-man. They are going to give this windmill control to Dynamac, which I don't know is the correct play. The Mistletoe looking to walk up to windmill. Para just walks up and kills him. And now it's a 4v5. There isn't really much. They don't have many ults here. It's going to be really hard for them to flip this fight. Dabmaster uses the Bastion ult trying to retake. Guy with the face is a little in there, but it's fine. You're on Orisa. Sandy gets farmed by Dabmaster, and this is now really, really bad for the Dreamers.
The TikTok shot could be big. The boys Dab. Hold on. Definitely doable here now. King Sanctuary is still on the point, and now January decided to invest in this. Use the overclock and Spacemaker goes in and pairs up with this one. However, Guy with the face is still standing as Dynamac is fun. Guy with the face spins on through and shuts down the shock. And now that's going to be it. Yeah, it's just a support line now for the Match on Dreamers trying to do anything to stay alive here. But just the TV back from Sandy is only going to be good for Stash. His power just slides on in and finds the kill. That's going to be Speedsters taking down this first map of the series in a very close fashion there towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, that was the Speedsters map pick. I think it was a wonderfully executed plan from the Speedsters. In my opinion, they might have been trying to play Orisa here, no matter what. For seeing how Guy with the Face played that map, it seems to me that they might have been wanting to do that no matter what. So, kind of baiting the Sigma ban. Very smart play from Swifters there, the captain. I think the Bastion pick was definitely the difference maker in terms of the macro, making it really hard for Danny Mac to get easy picks onto the hitscan characters on that Sojourn Bastion. But the real MVP was Guy with this Face's spear. That spear into that 4-man hazard ult. If that hazard ult hits, I think it's game over. Or at least that they get that corner, they have momentum. I think it's really hard for the Speedsters to hold if that spear didn't hit.
I'm asked to play there. That's a clutch from the rookie. What do they have for us in map 2? Have to wait and see. Our says break. Don't go anywhere. Aurora Overwatch Clash will continue after the short little break. And welcome back, everybody. Overwatch Clash Season 11, Week 2 here between Matchtime Dreamers and Seattle Speedsters. We had the Speedsters taking our first map of Junkertown, and now we're going over onto Cervasa, and almost instantly Fish saw a Junk Queen ban come through from Matchtime Dreamers. Give me a response, or from Seattle Speedsters, and a Mizuki ban from Dreamers on the other side. Dreamers, Swifters was a problem. Like, they were doing so well on this Mizuki. But the Speedsters saying, I don't want to deal with the Dynamac Junker Queen at all, especially on Cervasa.
Yeah, I think we might see something very similar to the last map. If I have the read on these teams correctly, it's like teams RR, so we can get in here. But we got
I just want to make sure that my stats are working.
It looks like Dynamac probably gonna have to play the Hazard again. I think you know, it's not like the Hazard was the reason that we lost, that the Dreamers lost. It was just I think some of those clutch fights, they didn't you know, didn't fall their way. And I think that Mizuki ban is going to be really valuable. I think the chains from Swifters were really the #1 threat towards Dynamac, and not having those, I think, is going to be a little more difficult here. We are seeing guy with the face remaining in. You could say getting the guy with the face maps out of the way early, or you could say that this is, you know, their best lineup and they're doubling down. Who knows? Well, time will tell. But Dynamac here hovering the Mauga instead of the Hazard. Have not seen that this season from him, and I'm curious to see how that looks. And on the other side, we're seeing very standard Soj, Tracer, Kirilu. Para is hovering Bastion here. Did work last map. I think it will be harder with no Mizuki, and
unfortunately,
especially into this Mauga that they do not know.
I'm going to prove you wrong by taking a look at Dynamac's Mauga stats so far this season. Has just less than 10 minutes on him, but we have seen it before. It is a thing that's definitely been selected. But I'm surprised not to take a Zari or something if you're expecting God the Face on Sarissa. But see if Dynamac can make this Mauga work. Maybe perhaps just a bigger bullet sponge for the Bastion to shoot down into. But of course now Datmaster will swap over on the Tracer. Paro, in fact, pilot the Bastion here. God the Face falling very low. Susan force over, but Datmaster in the backline for an opening pick. A nice spin from God the Face. Almost keeps Paro standing, but instead it's the all-out attack from the Matchtime Dreamers that will get that pick. And now here comes the point flip as Datmaster just has to get out with their life for now. Got the opening pick, but not nearly enough, as January is again unleashed on their signature Genji. We don't see this on Junkertown, but once again making it work. A great engage there with Dynamac.
Yeah, it looks like Para sees the opposing comp, immediately swaps to Sojourn. I think that is the correct decision. But this brawl from the Dreamers, I think, is going to be difficult for them to deal with. We see the Sandy Juno, which I think is interesting to see, and Swifters able to pick up January early in that fight, and somehow the Speedsters win this fight before it really even starts.
Yeah, I mean, the damage goes in for a little bit of damage here built towards that cage, but all they're going to get on the back end of this one is, I mean, just Swifters and Dive find the opening picks there with power as well. Is all that Speedsters needed to flip this point back at 58% now for Matchtime Dreamers. No swaps from their side, but obviously you see the Mauga, you go to Sojourn, just build at that rail almost instantly every fight, get free full blast charge down Main Street and find that opening pick.
Yeah, I think they have the slight comp advantage, but I don't think that was the difference there. I think just a slightly mispositioned player, but Swifters looking to do it again, is kind of in there, does get out just barely. And Dynamac looking as that the go button is in there, Suzu forced, and Dynamac has to use the shout, and I think Dynamac is going to die here.
Yeah, and just that spin again from God the Face is making their life extremely uncomfortable as Paro finds a third in this fight here. And Swifters is still in with that mess in the back line, as they're going to get the championship DNA now from Paro showing on this DPS role. As Datmaster is going for a bit of a flank here, do we see a Pulse Bomb stick potentially, looking for a Misto or a Sandy on the back end? Let's get a POV of this Tracer and see what they can do. Okay, just blink to stand still.
5 ult here for the Speedsters. It looks like Dynamac is going to try to touch. They do commit the Ray. They barely get the touch. But Para with the OC does find a pick, and this is looking really bad. But Dynamac does get the pick on guy with the face. It is possible to get a flip here. Spacemaker still alive in the backline. They do get the flips. Dynamac uses the cage as a Winston bubble, just trying to play their life for as long as they can. This could signify a swap, maybe, but it also could be Dynamac just really thinking that they might be able to win this fight. They do have to get a touch here after this flip if they do want to fight this. It looks like Dynamac is going to go back in. has the shout, has the blade. Beat is used from Swifters, very scrappy.
Swifter's 1 HP though. Swifter's down. Hold on. They're making it work. Casino Rush comes out here as well from Mistletoe on the point as Gothic is trying to spin in to win. But it's not going to be it. The Pulse Bomb is there, but it's only going to land on the giant Mauga. 2 hearts, both are still pumping. And now it's just a Tracer on the side. And somehow they flip back, and this might be a .1 here for Match on Dreamers.
They're pulling this out from the depths. Dabmaster are going to have to get this touch. They know he's there. It's impossible for him. And the Dreamers flip it all the way from the depths. Danny Mac with the solo man cage as a shield on point. I've never seen that.
And it worked. It was fantastic. He played. It was a 3v1, but stays alive. They can't fight them in the cage. And the Reforms come back in time. Generator pops the blade. Mistletoe with the Casino Rush. It's just fantastic team play there from Mash Time. But Para once again finds a pick. The DPS duo coming alive for the Speedsters. Once again find the opening pick on the support line. Damek only get 1 for their troubles. That's all they're going to have as Mash and Turtles are sent back to spawn fairly quickly. Obviously, Speedsters a bit upset how that last point went. We'll get first flip here.
And he swaps over to the Moira, and Danny Mac does make the swap over to the Hazard. I think that was part of the calculation for the cage, but it ended up being a fight-winning play. Sandy is not going to go Moira. They are going to go back to the Juno, but they are going to play the Hazard here. I want to shout out Taken Wallet. I think their play on Kuriko has been very, very good. They have this rush. Interested to see how they want to use it here.
Spacebear going a bit of a flank here with the Overclock online, looking for potentially a support pick or two. Swifters goes in to negate this point from flipping on through, but now Overclock comes out here from Spacemaker. Para down, the engagement there, the damage was dealt, and Dynamac follows that one up. Now the slide in over on towards point here with numbers advantage. Swifters 1 HP Spacemaker takes him out of the sky, and now bit of a nasty little play from Spacemaker to open up, I guess, to make the space, if you would, for the squad to make it over on towards Para and get the flip here, 55%. Very eerily similar to last point, but teams are flipped.
No ults used from the Speedsters. They elected to play a save fight. They have this rush, they have this OC entering this fight, and a huge ult advantage. Let's see if they can capitalize on it.
See if they can capitalize on it, but Spacemaker again now has the space to work with to just put down this damage, take him out very low, has to heal a bit, makes this fight much slower than maybe the Speedsters want it here, as they have 3 ultimates, but now January has built up the blade here once again, opening use of the Kunoshi rush from taking one, but Dynamac just negates the ultimate, just slides on through in the back, and now January with the blade, looks some things up on Swifters, finds one, looks for another on damage, finds a second here, and now the pull from Guy in the face, looking for a turn back here, it's now 2v2, but still, oh, nice deflect from January, but a perfectly timed Susan from taking one will keep them standing. Well, all they can do is get back to the spawn potentially here. Spacemaker looking for a pick on the backside, won't get it just yet. Dabmaster is low, forced retreat for now. Swifters does have the beat for the recontest here, but now 9% and counting. Do they touch here? Swifters has to come on here. 99%, they get it, but now Swifters might die with beat. They do die with beat to the bleed. However, it's still 1-for-1 exchange, but they've lost their beat. Dabmaster 1 HP on the point. The Rage Axe is here. They've lost the ultimate here from Sandy. Can't use the one just yet, but now the Downpour is ready to be unleashed from Dynamac. Do they force out the Susan first? Looking for here, take 1 HP. They might even need it here, but they might need the ultimate actually to find the picks here. They got the pick, they got numbers here. Dynamac doesn't have the reinforcements, and that's just going to be a flip. Despite Swifters going down early, got the time and got the picks, or got the touch they needed. Now they have the Bulbs to work with. Dynamac has to come up huge here with this downpour. It's 1-fight territory for both sides.
Yeah, I felt like that was a very important fight for the Speedsters. I think it would have been going down 2-0 there, losing the ult advantage. I think it would have been very detrimental. Now they have a very clutch convert opportunity here with the beat, with the pulse. They need to win this fight.
Where's Dab looking for his with Pulse, looking for Sandy, looking for... Looks like he needs a stick over on the Spacemaker, shuts down, the overclock, they can't use the ultimate! They do invest in both the downpour and Conserge on the point, but Dabmaster has found the picks they needed. That's 2 here, making a 3rd for Dabmaster, the Rookie of the Year, looking to be the MVP of the season! Para steals the ace! But the Speedsters are going to steal this point right back. And that's going to be a 1-1.
Well-timed V from Swifters. Didn't even know the Hazard was ulting. Still perfect for them. I think that was hugely important to that fight. Obviously, Dabmaster wreaking havoc in the backline. They don't have this Pete for this blade anymore, but you would 100% take that for that point cap.
Do we decide to invest opening the overclock or this blade for the side of Master and Dreamers? You got the ult advantage, but taking Walt if they play this slow, can build up this Casino Rush here for the point opening. Blow off the map, guy with the face! Sends Danny Mac straight into the drink. However, January the Blade decides to unsheath and see what they can do. Got the face 1 HP, but still stay alive. Taking a wall with the healing to keep the Rosa standing. The gold form does dissipate as well as their life. However, Deadmaster's 1 HP is going to bleed out inside the side of the mid room. Para with 2. Para with 3. Para and Deadmaster combining for the 5K. Except for got the face. In fact, got the spear. My fault. Respect on go. And they win it with no ults.
I'm starting conspiracy. Paracelsus brought guy with the face in to sign up for Aurora to take him with the last pick. It's all a part of the master plan. It's the only explanation, I think. They have a 4 ult advantage fight. Spacemaker swapped onto the cast now. It's a little bit of a desperation swap, in my opinion. We'll see if they're able to win a fight out of nothing. The rush is used from Take a Wallet, looking to try to win this fight early.
Oh, Sadie down here, but the torpedoes from beyond the grave find Para and take the overclock out of the equation here. As now still a 4v4 on the point. Denmark has returned to the fray. Switches 1 HP, but the Suzu is there from Take Wallet to keep the Lucio standing. And right now, still a 4v4. Denmark looking for something in the backline. 1 HP is taking Wallet, make that 0. As right now, Deadmaster forced over on the coastline. The numbers are here now favoring the side of the Match Time Dreamers. Recall is forced from Deadmaster, and January is trying to take on the 1v1, but he's going to lose that one on out. Deadmaster has to retreat, does not survive. And a flip here now for Match Time Dreamers.
It's a huge fight win for the Match Time Dreamers. No ults committed for the Speedsters other than the rush. But Sandy being able to get that trade onto Para seemed to be the more valuable of the pick in the context of the fight.
We'll see if Deadmaster can find another opening stick here. They have landed them multiple times here on multiple points. Can we get a third here now? Looking at January trying to... Oh, but Spacemaker!
Wow.
Whoa! Spacemaker's playing the spawn room! And just takes that shot, got the face, and can invest in the Terror Surge. Take him up 1 HP, force to get away. Switches, invest in this beat in the 5v4. Mistletoe is going to be taking over Sandy, using in this orbital array. Not going to get Rayjax this time. Wow. Here comes in Dynamac with the use of that downpour, and they're making it scrappy. They're making it winnable. Here, Switches 1 HP. It's still so scrappy here on the point. Do they have numbers here? Deadmaster Fun solo has the recall though, just in time to negate the block slop from Dynamac. They might have a touch here, though.
Really risky
they don't.
For the Speedsters. They used everything, but they did end up winning. Sandy probably wants that Ray back, if we're being entirely honest, for this next point. But not a terrible position. I think this Spacemaker on cast has definitely provided some value, and Swifters snipe Sandy from cross map. They're going to start this fight on the back foot.
I mean, I think they have found their target here. So far this series, it's going to be Sandy. This Juno. It's just so tough to get away with this just all-out aggression. I mean, Tank Wall takes 2 bolts to the dome there from Spacemaker. And hold on! The support line now gone now.
Holy, what a
But the stick on the blocking hazard. Not much you can do. There's Deadmaster trying to clean up this fight. We'll look for a third here, but it's forced back away. Sandy swaps over on the Moira here once again off of this Juno. Just a little more survivability.
I love it. I'm a fan. I think I was not a fan earlier when they tried to do it, but I think now, given how this match has been going, I think the Moira pick makes sense. You know, you just gotta live, play your life, wait for Danny Mac to do something, wait for Yeetmeister to do something. I kind of fuck with the picks.
Yep, should get here. Danny Mac goes over on the side room, looking for his Mega Control, but now Casino Rushes are exchanged on this point. The rows are on top of one another, but Missile forced to fall down. This Kiriko, Danny Mac has lost a minute, so it's a healing here, and now both supports are gone. This guy the base standing in the middle of Casino Rush. Danny Mac couldn't find a position. Spacemaker for a high noon. We'll get 1, but okay. Good look for a stat sheet, but that's all you got there aside, my friend.
Yeah, maybe a swap here, but maybe it was just a little bit of an ambitious play. It is going to be a Tracer swap here. They're going to go full dive 5-man here for the Dreamers. I think that could be a good strategy. Try to ignore guy with the face as much as possible. Guy with the face taking a lot of damage here is going to have to use the Fortify 50 HP. Spins from the other way, 19 HP. Does get the Suzu, is going to live.
I don't know how they get out of there with that one. That's Match Time Dreaming right there. Goes in again here. The Terror's looking for a pick or two. Not going to find anything, but they can pull Danny Mac back. However, January comes in with 2 here on the Genji. Looking for a third on a Para. Spacemaker steals the final blow, but the elimination is all there as January continues to get the resets and get the picks. And that's going to be a flip now, once again, for Match Time. But we've seen every team that's captured first has won the point.
Yeah, I think this is going to be really interesting for the 5-man dive, trying to hold space. It's not really like you can do anything, but you can wait for a guy with the face to go in, and then hard 5-man on someone. It's going to be Para.
Oh, Para is caught. The wall is there in time, but the stick on a Mistletoe takes the Kiriko out of the fray. January is 1 HP of the blade and can't get it off in time. Danny Mac using that downpour on the side, but Swifters had the beat to negate that one out. And that's just going to be another point And a full map victory here now for the Seattle Speedsters as they go up 2-0 in the series. And Mash and Drews are caught reeling, looking to avoid a sweep in their week 2 after their week 1 showing.
I didn't think I'd be saying this, Booney, but the real question of the set becomes, can they win without Guy with the Face?
That's true. God's Face has been looking fantastic part of this series. Just, it's not that God with the Face is like completely outplaying Dynamac right there, but they're being even, which is huge in terms of the SR difference.
Yeah, I think Guy with the Face is not, it's not like
hard carrying
with their mechanics, but it's been just the level of play, the standing in the right place, and the jabs have been impressive. You can't deny it.
Jab, they canceled the ult on the last map, and they sent Dynamac in a drink on this map. So yes, the right click legend that is Guy with the Face. Guy with the spear after this one, but we'll see where we go for map 3. Mashtime Dream is now completely on the back foot. Got to pull for a reverse sweep. Do they have a rabbit in the hat or a lucky rabbit's foot? Both work. We'll see where they go inside this break. Don't go anywhere. Overwatch Clash continues after this short break.
These beats are the purest. Prove it, prove it.
And welcome back, everybody, to Overwatch Clash Season 11 Week 2 matchup between Matchtron Dreamers and the Speedsters. Speedsters continuing their dominance so far this season. The Dreamers now on the back foot. And we're going over here onto Numbani. And once again, Fish, they picked ban first. And we see it not paying off as they ban the Ana here. And the Hazard comes in for the other side of Speedsters. So now Dynamac cannot play that dive here. You want to see him play Junker Queen regardless here on this map, because why not?
Yeah, I was checking the profile, seeing if there was any other options here. I've kind of come to the conclusion I think you just run Junker Queen here. We'll see what he picks. I think the Ana ban is really troll for 2 reasons. 1, because I don't think it makes sense to ban out Nash after you just didn't play against Nash for 2 maps. And 2, because now Dadmaster can go Roadhog, and there it is. So this is the problem. This is the problem. This is what you've done. You did this. You did this to yourself. You signed up for Dadmaster Roadhog, no Ana pick. I think Dab was gonna play on. I think Dab was gonna play Hog here anyway, and now you've just made it twice as good. I think it was a huge misplay from the Dreamers. I'm not saying the map is over, but you definitely lost the pick ban phase, and now you have to make it up in the gameplay phase, which we have seen has not been their specialty in this game.
I do find it funny, like the second you said on road, and there it is, like that was when his GIF popped in on the roster screen as Roadhog. Like, there he is, Dadmaster on Roadhog, and yeah, Dynamac is gonna have some trouble here, not having an Ana at their side at least again now. But here comes the what's this one? The When Pigs Fly combo? I don't know, but I mean right now, Dadmaster is just ready to go on a bit of an adventure here with Swifters. Look at my early pick, Sandy. Ooh!
Oh my god.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's the MVP season is already over. We missed a hook on like a standing still Kiriko when we were getting flown around by our cat. So it might just be over, ladies and gentlemen. Dynamac is gonna go in here deep, knowing there's nobody back, but Spacemaker gets pulled on it between just the Red Sea parted, and they found Spacemaker, and now the numbers are once again going to favor the Speedsters here as Dadmaster lands yet another hook on towards Sandy. And that's going to be a quick point A capture here. Spacemaker off the Freya. We'll go over onto the Sombra. And Dynamac sees the Hog. Looks to boil this pig alive over on the Mauga.
Shocked. I thought he was going to go Queen. They're both good. So I think, you know, either way, you're in a winning matchup here. Looking to get Dadmaster caught out here, gets hacked, or looking to get hacked. There it is. The burn is there, and somehow
my God,
Spacemaker. The card is probably going to stop at some point here on this corner now that they have no tank.
But they're getting the picks here. It's very even back and forth exchange here of both these squads. Swifter's trying to get away, but he's going to burn to death. Just burning cat hair and the smell of pork chops everywhere. This is very orthodox, obviously, Overwatch here that we're seeing. The Hog versus the Mauga on Numbani. What do you expect here, of course?
Yeah, this is pretty much exactly what I was thinking was going to happen, for sure. Dadmaster walks in, gets a hook on to Dynamac, and it's looking pretty rough for the Dreamers. They are getting kind of snowballed here. Dadmaster is now just on the high ground, set up for another hook, kind of pushing their advantage here. Looking to get quite a bit of a flank here. Sees the Sombra decloak, but Dynamac sniffs it out.
Oh God! Oh dear Lord! Wait! Oh what? The mitigation for the healing is too much. There's not enough off to kill this Hawk, and now he's gonna pull it on the high ground. Looking for a pick here on the back end of this one. Not gonna land the hook. But oh my! Okay. Let's miss an entire clip on the Sombra, but eventually we get the pick here. But now Dynamac pushed down the cage.
Dadmaster walks up the car, but it's just Dadmaster and Jan. Jan looking to do as much as they
can.
The
hook.
And there it is. We have 5.5 minutes on Numbani for third. It is looking really rough for the Dreamers. This Dadmaster Hog, the Swifters Jetpack Cat, and Swifters rightly says, "Why do I have to play Jetpack on the only flat point?" And goes back to the Mizuki that he was finding so much success with earlier.
Nash runs well, could use the Casino Rush to open things up by this corner. Damage going for a bit of a flank play. They're not going to find anything up. Para was there for the follow-up. Didn't find anything with that one, but the Casino Rush right down main. But Para taken down earlier and missed still find the 2 shots. The supports here for the Master Dreamers said this is where your push ends right now, finding 2 quick kills on the DPS line. And now National's forced away. Dashmaster is caught in a 1v5 situation, but finds a pick on the Spacemaker. The team from Nash Browns and Suzu not in time, and now Dynamic is on the hunt for the Kiriko, and they stand no chance. A small corridor against a large Samoa man with 2 hearts, both pumping. And now finally defense finds some footing here in Nabani.
Yeah, that was an important fight for the Dreamers. I think you absolutely needed to win that to set up this corner push. They have a large time bank in front of them. 4 minutes. They're gonna have to win a lot of fights in a row, but they do have both support ults at their disposal to try to win. Rush is used early.
Maybe a little too early there on the rush.
Yeah,
They weren't really committed to that choke just yet, and neither was Deadmaster up on the high grounds. They just real no fall up here, but again, it's just drain the time off the bank. You can use Mistletoe's window on the next engagement here, build up towards the cage, and build DPS. But Tango finds January, you can't get the duplicate built up here in the spawn room. As Dynamic continues to maintain the space over on towards the right side, but Sandy has to retreat and give the space away. Emer Topfield also forced here, so Dynamic is in no man's land with no cooldowns. Does just run on through that hook there from Dynamaster, and here we go. Bit of an awkward invite here, bit of an awkward shit, but Dynamic runs into a small room with a whole hog! And now Dynamaster cranking it, but they got no kills inside of it. Missile will fall, and now eventually the picks are here. The hook from Dynamaster brings in, and Para finds the finishing touch. And that's a team wipe. They might get one more touch here at the very end with duplicate and a cage, but they gotta get a very awkward touch going. They cannot get in time. 3 minutes and 12 seconds in the bank here for the Speedsters, and we're seeing that Lacavana is not looking too hot for him right now.
Yeah, it would have been nice if Ana was not banned, right? I mean, it's just, you put yourself in this position. The scouting was not there, unfortunately. Deadmaster played Hog on KR last match and did well there, and that was with Ana, not with Ana in the game. So take Ana out, and this is what happens. I think the rest of the team, obviously, for the Speedster, is doing very well to support him. And it's not even like I think the Dreamers are playing horribly. It's just hard. The Jetpack Cat Hog, it's not really Overwatch. Like, you're playing at this hybrid, like free-for-all game where, you're just trying to take these 1v1s in disadvantaged positions.
Doomfist.
And they're just not winning them. Yeah, I guess we're playing Doomfist. We've lost the plot, I think, but at this point it's probably gonna work. Taking Wallet on the Torbjorn as well. I haven't really seen that one before either.
Yeah, Torbjorn, Doomfist, a classic Nambani defense here, but no cat, unfortunately, this time to bring Taken Well potentially in and out. But Dynamic will stick over on towards this Malga here. I think the Malga will probably have a good look here, and the Doomfist can easily force out that block as well as the disengage before potentially Power can follow up on any damage. But, Sandy as well, with hitting a hook or two. Deadmaster's probably going to see their comp and swap off pretty quickly, unless they're doing this just for the absolute vibes, which, hey, all for it.
Yeah, I think they might have been expecting the Winston.
Worst PNG of all time just dropped. You can see the board of the spray. Anyway, yeah, you continue. I had to point that out before it went away.
I think they were expecting the Winston here. That's at least my theory about the Torbjorn pick and all that. But this Mauga is gonna be
oh god!
With the Mauga is already found, but it's buried in a tough spot now.
This is very awkward to fight here. They don't want to take this one as Dynamic goes in deeper. Dynamic finds two of the big slam. It's 2 for 2 exchange right now, but Dynamic is close to being able to re-engage up on the high ground. January finally expelled from the back line. And now it's a Mizuki 1v1, but Dynamic decides to negate this one, just run on in. Force him away. Spawns are going to favor the side of match time for a second here, so if Dab isn't back in time for his fight, we could see Dynamic on the point, maintaining position, but they're going to, on the high ground, actually, trying to force up Para and Nashrounds from this angle.
Oh, wow. Great play by Swifters on the trail. They are going to get a trade onto Para there, and Dynamic is caught in a tough place. The Curie is there, though. The TP Suzu trying to support him. Dynamic does get a pick on the Swifters, but it's a little too late, I think. January trying to get a some point presence here, but Dabmaster looking to take this 1v1 against Spacemaker. Are they going to give this tick? They do.
They do.
They do get a tick. It's not the end of the world. You got a tick out of it. All that for a tick. All that for a drop of blood.
Yeah, the drop of blood might be actually squeezed from a stone at this point. The Mashdown Dreamers having nothing in the bank, nothing in these answers here. January will swap off the Echo over on the Tracer. Maybe put a little more pressure over on towards the Mizuki, but yeah, the Torbjorn's going to negate this and just disallow this flank coming on through. There's maybe more follow-up on the Dynamax engagements. I'm not exactly sure what the plan is here for match time, but they are just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. Dynamaster's still on the hunt here up on the high ground. I mean, Take One's on the same bait every single time, where they sit on this high ground and they force Dynamac to run after them, and they get punched in a small little room. It finally get the kill on Tank Wall. They have exchanged up for January and Misto on their side, so this engagement here on the Torbjorn is not paying dividends here for match time as Power just slides away from the large man running at 100 miles an hour right in their face here, and now it just staggers a little bit as January and Dynamic on this point trying to do anything. January a pick for the road or two, but forced to recall and now getting chased back into spawn. Do they get with their life? Looks like they will, just barely though. Dodge that punch on out.
Yeah, I think Mac has to rethink the strategy. I'm not sure if the 5-man onto the Torb is just enough. I don't think the juice is quite worth the squeeze here. I would like to see some point control from the team with the Brawl comp, but Dabmaster in the backline gets a pick on the Spacemaker early, and now the Mizuki is in an interesting position on the Mega. Looks like Dabmaster looking to engage on it, gets the punch onto Sandy. Sandy falls super low, 1 HP, and does fall. And now the Dreamers looking to build on to their advantage they already have. Dynamac looking to try to commit to this. It has to be a swap, That's the only way that makes any sense. Looks like Dynamac, you know, grasping at straws here, gonna swap with 30 seconds left in the round. I'm not even sure to what. We will see.
To nothing.
Okay, all right, we're staying.
We got Molten Core out and Sanctuary. That's
true.
That's the play they're going for, and it worked out. But yeah, I mean, Taking Wild was like 10-4 for that fight. They were not the they were not the prime target here. Spacemaker is gonna dodge out on the punch here from Dabmaster. If January can find a pick with his pulse bomb, it could be absolutely massive for them here as the fight really breaks out here. But thank you, Andrew, for the 5 gifted subs before the fight really breaks out here. Continues to get that in there. The stick comes on in. Taking Wild gets a dodge out with the help of the overload, and now Para with the overclock on the point. And yeah, they just can't touch.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a depressing way for this match to end that started with so much promise. But the the Seattle Speedsters pick a quick, dominant 3-0 victory and find themselves 2-0 in Aurora Esports Season 11.
Yeah, great start for them here. I believe only dropping 1 map so far as well in these 2 games. Should be primed for a good position in the next grouping. But before we get too far, looking ahead to the next stage, we gotta give ourselves a match MVP of this game. And there are a lot of good people to shout out here, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not really sure who I think should get it. I think there's an argument for Guy with the Face from the first 2 maps. I think there's a very compelling argument. I know Guy with the Face was chosen by their team as being the MVP of last match, so that's making me want to pick someone else. I would say Dabmaster or Swifters. Those are probably my 2 suggestions.
Yeah, it would be tough to not give it to one of those 2-star players. I was also leaning toward Guy of the Face, but at the same time, they also got it last week. So here's what we'll do. Why don't we go ahead and give Guy with the Face the match MVP, but we'll drag in Swifters or Dabmaster for an interview. Get their thoughts.
Okay, that's fine by me.
I do, or actually, their game wasn't streamed last week though, right? So
no,
we have not heard from Guy with the Face.
Yeah, we have not heard from Guy with the Face, so let's give it to Guy with the Face, and we can get an interview.
I don't know which one they are. Are they Max Verstappen? No, that's Dabmaster. I know Lewis Hamilton is Swifters. That's Taken Wallet. It's down to 2 of them. It's either Valtteri or it's Valtteri. Okay, yes, because the end is Nash Browns. Okay, so we'll go ahead and bring them in here for an interview. And there they are, our match MVP. Congratulations on the win. Starting off season 2-0. Got the Face, 2 straight match MVPs as well. Just initial thoughts coming with the big win here, 3-0.
I won't lie. I went into this expecting myself to do way worse. Like I haven't touched this game in like 2 months. No, I'm very happy with how I've been playing. Shout out my team. I don't think I'd be anywhere without like some of the GM and math and champ players just hard calming. But yeah, I feel really good. I'm having a lot of fun too.
It's easy to
Yeah,
have fun when you're winning 3-1, 3-0. You know, it's not too shabby.
Yeah, I guess.
Let's bring you in after your first loss and see how much fun you're having, right? But go ahead, Fish.
Put me on suicide watch.
yeah, I think your
Ugh.
team, you obviously got, drafted into a good situation. A lot of very smart players, very experienced players. Um, you mentioned the hard comms there. Who do you think has been the most impactful for you and your ability to, put showcase your skills?
Oh, that is a good question. I'd have to put it between either Dab or Para, because they're both like really good comers. Like they're both like neither of them are shy at like telling me where they want me to be and like where they want me to play with them, which it helps me like play a lot easier knowing like having like an idea of where I should be and who I should be around, or like just kind of like a general strategy like hey peel blah 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 for me, and they both com pretty hard. So yeah, it's hard for me to pick between the two, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's entirely reasonable. Those were kind of the two names I had in my mind as well. Swifter as well, another hard comer. You just have a very vocal
Yeah.
team. I think it makes it easy, easier for you to do what you did. Obviously on Junkertown, you kind of had the play of the match, in my opinion, with that spear on the Danny Max hazard ult. I don't know if you were aware. That hazard ult was going to
I
hit your entire team.
Dude, I was like, I just saw him leap, and I was like, I gotta spear this motherfucker right now before he like gets on my team. And I wasn't aware he was gonna ult. That was just kind of a soul read.
No, you're never. Yeah, there's no way you can be. Like, it just was a very well timed spear, and
I
obviously
I was
the boop
also
on the
so
map.
ready for that to like just refund his cooldown and him to like throw it back out. I didn't even know if I was gonna like cancel it.
Well,
Oh,
Do
we
you have any questions?
yeah we've looked back third season so far, but let's go ahead and look ahead to your next week matchup here between you and the Alaskan Salmon. Of course, the Mashdown Dreamers taking down the Salmon 3-0 last week. So you guys, you played this today, might be set up for a really good shoot up here. You'll be end up in like the first group of Conference One, so you'd be set for a prime position for playoffs basically already so far this season. So do you know anything about the Alaskan Salmon, or what are you looking forward to next
I
week?
I know nothing about no one here. I know the Wisconsin Overwatch League players because I play with them, and that's about it. I am complete newbie here.
Well then, how about we rephrase? How can your team keep up this performance? What do you guys need to
Um
keep at or maybe improve on if you see there's some things you guys don't like what you're seeing even though you're winning? Don't get complacent, stuff like that. So what are you guys looking forward to, if not this stage, next stage as well?
I think you're kind of on the money with the don't get complacent. It's very easy to like feel the advantage, feel the atmosphere of winning, and just get too comfortable. I there's a few things I really need to improve on. Like I think I'm probably our weakest link. I like to go forward a little too much, die too often when I don't need to. Um, Honestly, I think like the less I know, the better. Like no, I should rephrase that. The less I know
Great
about like the
song.
other teams and like their situations, the better. Because
Tame
like I
Impala.
think it's so easy to get in your own head, especially in like a competitive setting. That like
Yeah,
ignorance is bliss. Like the less I know, the less I have to worry about.
yeah. I think I can 100% agree, especially like when you're starting out on tank. I remember my first season in a competitive league. Like I think the overthinking and like just a lot of thoughts in your
Yeah.
head can make you kind of run it down a little too much. So I think just the being calm, being zen. This is definitely something you want to do. I can tell that you're having a good time smiling over here, so we won't want to hold you too
Oh
long.
yeah.
We got to end with El Clasico though. If you had to give the match MVP to someone else on your team, who would it be?
um, Probably Dab. That guy is dropping like crazy nukes and like in the scoreboard and like dying 3 times. Like actually insane teammate. I'm glad I got in a team with him. But like everyone else is also doing really good. I don't want to like put too much of the highlight on Dab. Like I think if any one of us was like doing any worse, I we wouldn't be making it.
All right, yep. Again, with that being said, again, big congrats on the win. 2-0 start to your season, 2 straight match MVP, start off your rookie year, and I hope to speak to you again here soon.
Hell yeah. Hope to be here soon.
All right, there they go, Fish. Before this game, we were kind of thinking like, oh, both the teams are on a big rise so far, big, great first weeks looking, but Speedsters showing that there might just be a tier break within this division, potentially even 2 tier breaks in this division.
Yeah, I think this division was kind of pegged as being the most competitive division. We'll see how the rest of it goes. I'm not gonna completely rule it out. But I think the Speedsters are definitely the best team from this division, and possibly the best team in the tournament.
Love to see if they continue his performance. But with that being said, everybody, thank you so much for watching. We do appreciate everybody who stopped by for tonight. We do have a couple more games going on this week. In fact, quite a bit. We have a doubleheader tomorrow for sure. The final game of week 1 is going to be there between the Kitasans and the Marshadows. And then we also have the Syndromers and the Hoops tomorrow. So we actually have 2 Umamusume games tomorrow. So if you guys love this funny little horse girls, make sure to show up and support whatever team you decide to do so. But a big final thank you to Andrew for the 5 gifted. We do appreciate that there as well. So for Fish, I've been Booney. Stay safe, stay healthy, have a great rest of your day, buddy, and we'll see you tomorrow for a doubleheader.